Good afternoon, everybody. How's it going today? Texas Redleg here. I wanted to put a little video together just sort of based on current events with regard to other areas of the world and of course our immediate area of the world with regards to law enforcement and current, I'll call it, enforcement action based upon likely unlawful directives and or executive orders, if you will. And I'm afraid, and I think that it's going to sort of mimic what happened in Ottawa at some level. I don't think a lot of, I think there is some law enforcement in this country that will gladly accept the directives, be it unlawful or otherwise, from the current administration to effectively try to enforce, again, unlawful or certainly impulsive restrictions to the public or the citizenry, if you will. So law enforcement, I think, in certain areas of the country, not in every area, not in every jurisdiction, I think some levels of law enforcement, being federal, state, county, municipal, will be weaponized against protest, opposition speech, just like you saw in Ottawa. The allegiance that the citizenry has, is to the Constitution, just like the people that we elected. The citizenry doesn't owe anything to the people that, rule over us or pass, intrusive or unlawful regulations, orders, etc. But especially at the federal and state level, depending on where you live, depending on your politics, I think you're going to have willing members of law enforcement that will conduct these types of operations, especially at the federal level. And, I support law enforcement. I do. But I've always said until they give me a reason not to, I'm going to keep supporting them. So some law enforcement officers will fall in line with their handlers and their superiors, if you will, and be willing to violate people's rights, violate the Constitution. And these are the very people that wanted the police defunded in the first place. Now they're coming for you, needing your help. So when you're willing to do their bidding, they support you. When you're willing to do their protective details, they support you. So, folks, as many of you know, there is a power struggle going on all over the world. Canada was just the first spark, I think. But to outlaw fuel possession, delivery, to outlaw horn honking, yeah, you can split hairs and say it's a noise ordinance thing, whatever. But it's clear that that particular government and their law enforcement entities are willing to go to extreme measures in order to maintain authoritarian rule over that segment of the population. You've got these left-wing nut jobs that are hitting the media airwaves, spreading lies, spreading untruths, inconsistencies to try to demonize these protesters. You've got the threat of the government in Ottawa or Canada, I'll just say, threatening to remove children of some of these protesters that are under their care right now. So it's clear that there is a power struggle going on. And we need to be able to, number one, try to support law enforcement until it's time not to. And again, I think it depends on where you live. I think the attitude of law enforcement at the federal level is much different than that of the county level for sure. I think some of the state level, they get along well and they'll scratch each other's backs. But there is also a lot of animus between those two levels of law enforcement. But I think we need to be prepared to stand up to unlawful and illegal tactics. And get your phones out and record everything you see, because that'll be your evidence if something happens to you or somebody that you know or love. So they have their rights violated. You need to have it on video and you need to have a record of it. Write names down, badge numbers down, vehicle identification numbers down, etc. Now, I'm not telling you to actively go out there and look for a problem with law enforcement. On the contrary, again, if law enforcement is acting or implementing enforcement operations for something that is lawful and within their purview, then you need to comply with law enforcement. However, we need to be prepared at least to verbally resist and peacefully protest, of course, and we don't want, I certainly don't want any ill will towards law enforcement. I just want law enforcement to do the right thing, what they swore an oath to do. And that's the big thing, is they swore an oath to this. And I think most law enforcement officers, some of them are coming out right now saying, look, we're not going to get involved in this. And I like that. I think that's good. I think that's setting boundaries for these, woke, snowflake politicians to try to use them as their, enforcement tool or their enforcement arm to their illegal and unlawful ordinances, regulations, and the like. Some cops are going to have to choose. I think some already have chosen that they're on the people's side, as long as the people are within the law, and that's what we need. I've got family in law enforcement, and again, I think it depends on where you are, where you live, what your politics are, etc. These left-leaning strongholds that have an iron fist on the law enforcement apparatus in their area, those law enforcement agents will probably be willing to toe the line and do what they're told to do, whether it's lawful or not. But it's funny how, it's not actually funny, it's pretty damn sad that these, woke politicians wanted to defund the police, and now they're going to expect them to, do their bidding against, we the people. Again, so be prepared to stand your ground. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. I'm not telling you to resist lawful law enforcement personnel and operations, but have something recording everything that's going on. All right. So everybody have a great weekend. Keep doing the things. Hopefully we'll get through this thing unscathed. So remember your rights. Keep prepping, stack it deep, and always remember, long live the Republic.